Hooray! I'm here! Hello everybody. Sorry about the delay by 5 minutes. So all because the Windows 10 update on the laptop decided to, want to install an update as and when I was just about to go live. And that in turn, because we've got a slower broadband here, crashed our internet. But I'm here now. I managed to pause the update temporarily and kind of get it up and running. Okay, so I'm here. So apologies for the kind of lateness. I'm usually I like to be on time, you know I do. I'm a very punctual person. Anyway, welcome everybody, and welcome to our little live feed. Now today I'm working on this red squirrel again, so part 4. I know quite a few parts on this. There may be a part 5 yet as well. We'll see how we get on, okay? Because I'm going to work on the wood as well. So today what we're going to be working on, so if you stay tuned, is working on the nose itself, okay? So we're going to add the detail into the nose and really pick out those details in there. And then over the top of that, we're going to be adding watercolor white. So I'm going to show you how. So you want to hang on for this. I want to show you how to use watercolor white. Okay. So that's brilliant. So if you don't mind hanging fire for that, that's great. Now another thing I want to give away today, because nobody won it last week, did they? Why not? Nobody got it. Is I have a color which I added to my palette of colors here. Okay. So I'm just going to cover up part of the area. So there's my palette of colours quickly in and out of the shot, and there's a colour which I've added to that, not recently, probably 2 or 3 months ago. Now my members on Patreon and on Facebook may know this one, and also my Devon Artist website may know this one. This is the that's the tube in question, and it's a Daler Rowney tube actually, this particular one, and I can't give anything else away there. There you go, that's all I'm going to show you. It's only a small tube. Now what colour is it? Oh, what colour is it anyway? I've got no idea. Oh yeah, what colour is it? So it's not Winsor & Newton. This one is a Daler Rowney colour. Just to give us some ideas, because I normally use Winsor & Newton, as everybody knows. It's something I've always done over the years. Now this photograph is by a very clever photographer called Roger Wasley, which I very often mention the photographer's name because of the fact that they're very, very clever in what they do. So that's his details there on the screen for you if anybody wants to have a look at his Flickr website, his Flickr account on there. So flickr.com/photos/Roger Wasley. So there you go. Thank you, Roger, for the use of the photo. And off camera, this is a little bit different to what I did to begin with. So I'm going to just play you a 2-minute video. So stay tuned a minute. I've recorded this on my normal filming camera, which is the one I use for my main tutorials. For my website and for Patreon. Okay, so I'm going to show you this little video, so just bear with while it plays, and I'm back with you straight after. And let's have a quick look at your comments a minute. And apologies again for being late. I'm not normally. So I've been working on off camera, just give you some ideas when I've not been live. Just put a wash on the back of the red squirrel first. So the idea was, it's got a size 5 brush, which is this one here, look. And this is the Rosemary & Co. Series 93, and say size 5. Quite a nice brush actually. And these are sable brushes compared to my synthetic brush. So I've allowed the water to soak in first. This is just clean water on the back, just kind of pushing it further away than I need to paint. So basically I've added the water to about this kind of distance away, but then stop the paint around here. So that will give me sometimes a gradual blend, like especially on the top here, like, into the white of the paper. So I've just used the 2 mixtures I've been working with from the live sessions. If you remember, all they were the burnt umber, burnt sienna and the raw umber. And also, if you remember this one here, I've also got that one there as well actually. Cadmium orange, scarlet lake and burnt sienna. So they're the 2 main mixes I've been working with just to work on the background. And then when this is still wet, just drop in a tiny amount of the burnt umber into the wet paint, but more of the darker area on the inner sides, just here, look. And just look at the direction that the line's got to go into as you're doing this. I'm going to load this brush up to a creamy consistency now though, this paint. And then I'll start to add in these little details. Just push that over a little bit, get my hand in there. As you can see, using the size 00 brush. A bit more water in there, I think. Just so it flows a little bit more. Weaken it down, it will flow. And I want to overlap these lines as I do so. Just gradually overlapping, like I showed before in the live event, by making sure that your lines are not too parallel with one another, so they are overlapped like elongated crosses all the way through. So that's just that darkest colour. So vary the colour mixes between these two. Okay, that was showing you earlier on. Adding in a little bit of burnt umber and lamp black for those darker areas. Okay, I'm going to carry on now to give you some ideas on how I did this in between our live sessions. Alright, see you in a minute. Okay, well there you go. That will give us some ideas what we've been doing, or what I've been doing off camera, just to let you know. Now, very quick shout out there before we make a start on this. We've got Julie Andrew. Hello, Julie. Came in for another lesson. I am here now. Hey, finally made it. Kim Robertson. Afternoon, Paul and all. Andre. Hello. Hi, Paul. Kim. Yes, it's coming along, isn't it? It's starting to come along. It's just taking its time getting there, really. Because I usually sit and paint in one session, or maybe two sessions if it's a long painting, a big painting. But in this case, obviously, because it's going to be over like 4 or 5 weeks, it's a long drag. But no, I quite enjoy doing it, you know I do. Okay, wish my paintings looked like this. Thank you, Julie. I'm sure they do, I'm sure they do. In fact, I'm almost positive they do. Keep practicing. Oh, you two having a good old chinwag there, aren't you? Yeah, well, I'm here now, Andre. Finally, I know. Sulan, hello, Sulan. Okay, yeah, it's. I know what you mean, Andre. Yeah, well, it is the internet in this case, Kim. Thank you. And that's because I'm just getting some, just out of interest. I'm just going to get some raw umber. So it is the internet in this case. We've got about 10 megabytes download and about 12 uploads, something like that at the moment, which isn't bad actually for us in a very rural area. But the problem is when we get a big update on a computer like Windows 10 and everything just comes to a grinding halt, and it actually takes the internet down as well, because we have to work on a mobile phone internet. We haven't got a kind of wired in internet system here, so it's all done through the mobile phone network. Just getting a little bit of burnt umber in there just while I'm talking to you there. And also, Unag, hello, how are you, Unag? Hi, Paul and all, thank you. Good guess, Solon, but it's not. It's not that one. Okay. Right, now, let's make a start finally. I've got all of a tither. Well, I didn't really. I'm not one for panicking over things. I'm sure my people know that anyway. Just going to take a little bit of burnt umber, that splash off there. Right, I'm going to work on the nose first, as I mentioned, finally. And I'm going to zoom into the reference photo. Just bring it a bit closer to me so I can see it a little bit easier. Okay. So it's wise, if you can, try and get the photograph really close to yourself, because at least that way around, you can really kind of peek in and look at those details. Because I like to have a large photograph so I can pinch into those details as well. So I'm just going to bring that to about there so I can see it. Okay, right, there we go. Working on the nose. The first thing I want to do is pinch into the photo, and I'm going to get some burnt umber. Okay, going to just load it, roll it and tap it, take some residual paint off. Sort myself out here while I'm talking to you. I was prepared, I was all prepared before I started, if it wasn't for the internet. So the first thing I want to do is start to tap out some of the details using my 00 brush. Just using the burnt umber for now. I want to try and work out where all these little shapes are going. Please let me know you can hear me okay and you can see everything okay. So, because I don't know that, I can only guess. Oh, there you go. I've even got myself echoing on my phone here as well, which is unusual. Right. Okay. So when you work on those little details there, just close that down a minute. I don't want that all playing away. You're trying to pick out the direction that these go in as well. I want to add a bit more pink in there yet as well, actually, because it's not pink enough. Don't want it too pink in there, but it's not quite pink enough. And I'm trying to think of a clock face here. So this is going to be the center of the clock, right there. And then as it branches out, it's going to branch out in little curls, little hooks. See what I mean? So what I'm looking at, there's a bit of scrap paper here. You think about the center of the nose being here, and then you've got the nose shape coming around, the smiley face. And then around that, you've got these little curls all the way around like so, like a clock face. So this is your center there. Alright, so that's what I'm looking at on the reference photograph. Now this is why you don't want to overload that brush, because if you do, you'll find that it goes a bit too blobby, the paint will go on far too thick, and you won't be able to control those details. So just going to look at where that goes up the side there as well. So as I say, just burnt umber on its own at the moment. Just give that a quick tap actually. And I'm going to go darker once I've added a little bit more pink in there. I thought I'd leave the nose for you. So I've given you a preview or just an idea of how I did the rest of the body for the fur. So I thought I'd record that for you, so at least you can see what I've been up to off camera when I've not been live. Now I know people have asked me if there's going to be a video tutorial for my website, Devon Artist, you know, the one down there. .co.uk, and also Patreon. Not this one obviously because I'm recording it live on here, so I tend not to anything that I paint is, if it's for a tutorial for a video, and I've done, how many have we got now? Well over 50, haven't we? For the large video wildlife tutorials, then I tend to prefer to just do it solely for that one picture, so I will not use that as a live feed as well. Okay, I'm going to go to my dry paint. Now when you think I've had some of this paint in this mixing palette now for, wow, it's got to be 4 weeks, hasn't it? Obviously when I started this. So it's been in there, some of it's been in there for 4 weeks. It just goes to show with watercolours how much you can just re-wet or reactivate a colour. Just going to water that down a little bit. Eventually you'll find it'll go a little bit bitty in there. But you can see, for example, this is a mixture of burnt umber and burnt sienna within there. Look how dry that's gone. But I can just reactivate that. But it also shows you, look, what it would look like with just say one layer, for example, which is there, and then numerous layers around there. So that one colour gradually builds up one after the other, over the top, over the top, over the top, making sure each one's nice and dry first though. You'll end up, fingers crossed, with that kind of colour. So you can really build up those darks using those colours if you wanted to as well. Now this is that slightly pinky colour. This is a mixture of alizarin crimson and a tiny amount of opera rose. I'm going to add a little bit of that in there, just to add a bit of pinkness in this little tiny nose. Okay, I think that's all we need in there. Now then, turn that around for you. So I'm going to get some black paint. So it's going to be lamp black. Now I'm a person that does use black paint. I like to use black paint, but I always tend to mix it with something. So in this case, if I just wet that down there, this is again older paint now. Little bits of burnt umber in there. So lamp black, burnt umber, and I want this to be a creamy consistency. A little bit more there. So it's a little bit more black than brown really. I'm going to load it, roll it and tap it on some kitchen roll. And here we go. Now for the darker areas around the old nose. You ready? Let's start down below first of all. Now a little tip when you're working with detail like this is, I suggest what you do is look at the amount of paint that's coming off the brush. When it starts to get ready for reloading, make use of it. So go to the lightest areas and you get the finest of marks. A little tip for you, so don't forget to do that. So before you reload that brush, when you're working on fine details, just make use of it and you get the odd lightest mark from it, which will add to those details all the way through. Okay, so now I need some colour on here. Now this wouldn't look right on the main photograph, but I want to add a little bit of dark, because you need dark to show the light. You can't have one without the other. As an old Bob Ross saying, I used to watch his programs many years ago. And then start to look at where the darker lines. Again, it's remember that center of the clock just there, look. So this is all stems from that clock center. And then we've got the hands going around from different directions to 9 o'clock direction, working my way around to about 10 o'clock, about there. Okay, a little bit more around there. Now, if I do miss any of your comments today, don't worry, I do go through and I do check them at the end of the live session. But also, if I still miss any, which I have done before, because I do get quite a few, which is nice, thank you very much, everybody, then I will obviously look at those after I've gone live, over a cup of coffee, of course. Thank you, Kim. Now I'm going to lightly soften this with a damp, clean brush, just a little bit. Now, if you want to catch up on any of my live videos, or any of my videos which I put here on YouTube, then please click on that subscribe button down below. If you click on that, then click on the bell icon, you'll be notified by YouTube, by YT, by YouTube, not Youth Training Scheme, that's what it used to be on years ago, by YT, when I go live or when I put a new video on. So yeah, click on subscribe and then the bell icon afterwards. At least that way you'll know and you don't miss. Okay, right, so just working now towards the side there. Again, I want to be able to show that light on there, so I'm going to just add a few more around here. So this is gradually building up in detail now. Slowly building up, just by taking your time, using a 00 brush. That's all I've got. In fact, this one I've used for a few paintings now. Usually I use one of these for probably 2, maybe 3 paintings, and then the tip tends to wear away. But then again, they cost about £3. So when they're doing thousands of brush strokes, I'm quite happy with that. And then I save these brushes for using for masking fluid and special effects as well, which they come in handy for those. That's when I usually say to people, for masking fluid, just use an old brush. Okay, again, thinking about that clock face, just working my way around. Back to you, babe. No, that's a song. And just a little bit more around there. Okay. Nearly went into the wrong one. Then to where the old nut is. Just down there as well. Gradually building up. Alright, quick look at the comments just briefly. Okay, what we got? Some guesses on the colours, thank you. Oh, thank you very much indeed, Kim Robertson. We're happy to wait for you. Glad you're here. Yeah, I'm glad I made it, actually. I was so ready, so ready. I've been doing some jobs in the garage today, trying to make wooden dividers to go in some of the drawers I've got here, because my drawers are a bit of a mess. With all the pens and pencils and all sorts of things I've got within them. So because I do a lot of woodwork as well, I thought, you know, I've been moaned at a few times by Joe. Go sort your drawers out. So I did. I'm still working on that, so I've got to sort one out. So I made up wooden dividers to go inside those drawers, just to organise the stuff. Stuff is probably the correct word, which I have in there. So yes, I've had a busy morning doing that, and I've been all prepared to go live today. And ready and waiting, looking forward to it as per usual. And then the internet decides not to work at thelastminute.com. Thank you very much indeed, Microsoft. Anyway, right, enough of that. Other than that, oh, Butterfly Angel, hi Paul, so beautiful already. Thank you very much indeed, Erna. I know. Another guest there by Kim. Thank you, Kim. Oh yeah, okay. Keep guessing, everybody. Remember the question. There's one colour which I've added to my collection of colours within this one here. Quick glance, there you go. What is it? Now, the first person to guess the right answer, when I check later on at the end of all this session, the end of the hour, roughly about an hour I'll be on for, will win, because nobody won one last week, will win 2 of my PDF lessons, okay? So all they need to do is send me an email, or go onto my website, devonartist.co.uk, send me an email from there, and then just say who you are and what you've got, and say, oh, I won it, thank you very much indeed. Then I will obviously let you know and send them to you. Well, I'll let you choose what you want actually from my website as well. So all I'm looking at now is a slighter darker areas I can see within the nose, and you can see this is really built up quite a lot now. And there are some really, well, nearly black areas, kind of a little bit darker in there. So load it, roll it, tap it. How many times have I got to say that today? Load it, roll it, tap it. And a little bit more around there. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's, being very careful out there. Or at home even. You should be at home, I know. Unless you went out for your regular little walk, if you can, during the day. Depends on what country you're in. I know that's also varies as well. Here, Joe and myself, we can go out for a wander. So go out for a walk for an hour, something like that. During the day, every day. Just kind of stretch your legs, because we work from home as well, so it's just nice to kind of just get out and walk. Get some fresh air, especially with the sunny weather we've been having for the past few weeks. I know. Now, looking down here. Oh, by the way, we've got eggs in one of our bird boxes at the moment. I may show you that live in a bit. On my phone, we'll see. So if I can dig it out for you. If you're interested, let me know. And she's actually sat there at the moment. Sat on the eggs. Lovely. A little great tit. There you go. Right, so gradually building that up, as you can see. Now that is just about it. That's probably just about all I need on there. Is it in the pistachio nut? You know what, Julie? I don't know. What would you say it is? It probably is a pistachio nut. I wouldn't be surprised. I've got to put a few highlights in there, yeah? Which is coming up once I've just made sure there aren't any more dark areas that I need to cover within this painting. See what I'm going to do? I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer for you. I don't know if this will be any better for you. 1 second. Is that better? Can you see more? Can you see clearly now? Right, okay. So when I worked on the claws and the paws just down there, I wanted to make sure that I've got all the darkest areas I can see. A little bit too much in there. Just take that off a little bit. Just around those little claws, because I will need to get that darken again, because I'm going to be putting white highlights on these little claws. I want to make sure I can see where they are, and that's where another one is just behind there as well. Okay, your little squirrel nutkins, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get some white on you next and get some highlights going. I think that's our next aim, don't you? Okay, you ready? Let's do it. So, highlights. Watercolour white. Now, if I try and get this in position for you, so bear with me a minute, I'll just make sure that you can see things on screen here. Somebody? The rain has gone. Oh no. The option in this part of Lancashire to pecan or walnut. Oh yeah. It's pecan or walnut. Alright, okay, well, I'll let you decide upon that one, Jonathan. Thank you very much indeed. Hello, Jonathan. Okay, so I'm just going to push that over a little bit more for you, and if I can, I'll bring that one into shot so you can just see the watercolour white here. I'm going to get some fresh in there now though. You can reuse what's there, but I want to get some nice bright watercolour white in there, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water to begin with and just wet that down. Sometimes when you're cleaning the palette out, all you need to do is just wet the area in question. See, I've got a bit of an overspill there. I don't want that leaching into the white paint, because it will do. Then you get a clean, or an old in fact, piece of kitchen roll, which is what I've got here, and then mop up any surplus just to clean that out before you start adding more white into it. I don't want any colour mixed in with that, preferably not. Okay, now then. Watercolour white. Now, there's a variety of whites on the market. There really are. The one I use is this one here, which is from SAA. But I said there's a variety of ones on the market. Ones that I have used in the past. Let's see if I can just quickly find them for you, seeing I'm live today. So bear with me a minute. I'm just going to just dig out my box of bits. Now, as we know, we've got the SAA one. That's a new one. I've just ordered another one, by the way. There's a Cotman, which is Winsor & Newton. I was looking for opaque whites, not semi-transparent, not semi-opaque, but opaque. You can use watercolour white opaque, but you can also use white gouache as well. There's this one, which is the Sennelier one. as well. That works quite well actually. I was quite impressed with that one. You've got a Winsor & Newton Designers, and that's the gouache one. That works very well. I didn't have any problems at all with that one. This is one by Winsor & Newton, so that's usually my second favourite. The favourite was obviously the SAA one, but that's my second favourite, that particular one there. And then finally, I did all this as a video for my members on Patreon and my website as well, for going through all these different watercolour whites. So Horadam Aquarelle is another one as well. Again, not bad, okay? But if you're going to look for tubes and you can't get the SAA one, I'd recommend trying the Winsor & Newton, that one there, titanium white, this one, okay? So Winsor & Newton titanium white, so that's a good one to test out as well. So I'll just put them away again and I'm back with you. But that'll give you some ideas a little bit about watercolour white. As I say, make sure that when you do buy one, you get one that is certainly opaque. Otherwise you'll find it will not cover the areas that you want it to cover. I know a lot of what do I do with that white? I know a lot of people who do landscape painting do use watercolour white in the sense of, I don't know, for ripples on water, that sort of thing as well. Little highlights, mini little highlights here and there. Now all I've done, as you can see there, is put a little bit within my mixing palette. This is a ceramic one, by the way. And just drop some water down there using my pipette. Okay. And I want to make this watercolour white to a creamy consistency. So what I'll do, I'll ignore this one down there. Now I can still use that if need be. I'm going to drag the water up to make it into, as I say, a creamy consistency. Now because my painting board here is on a bit of an angle, so something like that there, that allows me to put the water at the bottom and the paint at the top, giving me the option to be able to mix it to the consistency that I want. See the idea? So I'm going to load it, roll it, and then I'm going to tap it on some kitchen roll, preferably clean. This one isn't now. And we'll start adding these details in. Now I'm going to start off around the eye. I'm trying to see past my camera, my lights and everything else here, so bear with me. So I'm just looking, just zoom into the photo a minute so I can see what I'm doing. Again, this is another reason why we need this large photo. I can see a highlight just below the eye. Needs some more paint, would you believe? Just below the eye there. Make sure that your brush is not overloaded. That's not too bad. Take a little bit more off. And with watercolour white you can tint it. We have added some of this in the eye already. And this is where we're going to start adding a little bit above the eye, just to put a suggestion of lightness there, just to brighten it up a little bit more. I don't need bright white, because what I can do with that, I can just get a little bit more water, weaken that watercolour white down, and that will dry duller. Okay, so it will dry much duller when that goes on there, and which allows some of the other colour to show through as well. Even though it's an opaque white, it will still allow some other colours underneath to kind of appear. Okay, let's get a little bit now, barely touching the paper. Now I just want a little tiny highlight just below the eye, just on the lower eyelid, and this one here as well. And again, we can touch this up as much as we want to. So we're going to do the same on the other one now. I just a little bit more there actually. So the same on the other one. Now a little tip as well. You probably notice I've always got a sheet of paper underneath my hand. This is just printing paper from the main printer. That's all it is. Some very cheap 80-gram printer paper. And I do that because we've all got natural oils on our hands, haven't we? And that means that when you add that hand onto the bare paper, you get oil residue, which is natural, I know, but onto the paper, and that causes a resistance to the paint. So when you try painting over the top, you find the paint won't absorb into the paper. It will bubble on the top of the paper. So I suggest what you do, just protect that sheet of paper a little bit from where you're painting, where you're putting your hand to really. You can buy a painting glove, which I've got somewhere knocking about. I don't know what I've done with it, but I've got one somewhere knocking about. And it works quite well actually. It just covers two fingers, covers these two fingers here and the side of your hand, and protects the paper. But that's okay, it works really well. But you tend to find you get a bit of a hot hand wearing it. But that's one option. Or you can get some tracing paper and cut out the hole for the subject, in this case our red squirrel, and then place that around the wed with a W, the red squirrel. So then you won't even have to worry about carrying a piece of paper around with you. So I know a lot of people that do that as well to protect, especially when you're working on a very large painting as well, a very detailed large painting. Okay, so now I'm just looking at where these are going to go for the finer marks around there. So you see already I've highlighted those eyes, but still a little bit too bright. So I'm going to get a little bit of, let's have a quick look, a little bit of raw umber. Take some off, and in one movement, one pass over the areas, just add a little bit of this raw umber there, and that will tone it down that little bit. We can do that again, but wait for it to dry first. Don't go straight back in and try going over the top, because you just end up moving that watercolour white. Okay, right, so that's so far. Let's make sure everybody can see everything okay. So a quick look, make sure. Yeah, I like the Winsor & Newton designer gouache. That's quite a nice one as well. I like all of those, but there's each one, I don't know. When you look at my video, I don't know if you've seen the video, Kim. It's on Patreon though, that one, and also I've got a new one going on Patreon as well. I've done an older version, but I've done a newer version with a new colour. No, new colour is always white, isn't it? But a new manufactured white, which I thought I'd try out a different video. So and they do tend to react in different ways when you're overlaying them with other colours. You know, so it's well worth trying different ones out if you get the opportunity. I know, because it's all costly buying all the paints all the time, I know. But I want to do that for the video, so it's a bit different for me. Okay, so now I'm thinking about where it gets a bit brighter. Just on the side of the nose, this way it can start to come alive a bit more actually around here. I'm not going to do the whiskers until later on. So start to add these brighter marks in now around the outside of the nose, bringing them down. Now it's white down here as well, but it's not quite as bright white. Yeah, that's not easy to say, is it? But it's not quite as bright white. So to do that, again, all I'll need to do is just weaken this watercolour white down that little bit, just to kind of add a paler, duller version behind there, which I will do. Okay, yeah, Andre, I like the SAE one. Thank you, Andre. Yeah, you know I do. Interesting, I might have to try it. Thank you, Kim. Okay, a little bit more now. How long have we been on? 32 minutes. So I'm just going to do this area around here. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll stay with one doing the nose, and I'll go to a little advert break for myself. And the advert break, all it is one of my videos, okay? So you might find it interesting. And the reason why is next month's video tutorial on my devonartist.co.uk website, and also on Patreon as well for my members there as well. And this one is how to paint a bumblebee on a purple flower, okay, or violet flower. And it's been a lovely one to work with. So if you fancy doing some botanical work as well as wildlife, well, it's all wildlife at the end of the day, isn't it? It's all still alive and kicking sort of thing. Is that a sentient being? I don't know. But so if you fancy having a go at doing something like that, I'm going to show you that you're the first people to see this preview video today. I'm not showing it anywhere else yet. So I'll be doing that very shortly with you. Now into the nose, again, this is not quite as bright though. I'm going to weaken this down. I don't want a strong white in this nose. I need to just add some marks in there. Again, thinking about the clock face as I work around this little nose. There's the centre of the clock again, right in the middle. And they get a little bit brighter as they come around. I may have to brighten some of these down there yet. But I don't want to go too bright too quick. I can tone, remember, I can just tone it back down again. Barely touching that paper. 2 hairs in air, that's all it is. I know somebody said to me the other week, didn't they? Paul, what did you say? 2 hairs and what? 2 hairs in air? too bright now, messing about. And then gradually bringing these down to the center. So this is the center of the forehead there, and that's where they all kind of tend to converge. They all join in from that angle, that sweeping angle, and they all go towards the same area. Now you can see I've hardly got any paint on the brush, and what I said earlier on, make use of it. Okay, got nothing left there at all now. And a little bit more around there. And I'm going to just brighten some of these now where it needs to be brightened, just as it sweeps around towards the centre of the nose there. We will need to try and get this little hairy nose going, and bring a few little ones just over this dark edge underneath as well, just to add that extra effect so it doesn't look too sectioned off on its own, because it will do otherwise. Just trying to make sure, it's like when you're painting the dog's nose as well, dogs or cats as well, make sure that when you paint the nose on whatever you're painting, it blends in to the rest of the muzzle, whatever it's going to go, just to make sure that it does blend in that little bit, otherwise it looks too much on its own. I know some of my members have made that mistake, and hopefully they've, like me, you'll learn from your mistakes and the things that we do. We always do. We're forever learning. Okay, right, excellent. So I'm going to tone that down a little bit in places like I've just shown before with some raw umber. But up until that point, I'm just going to have a quick look. Yay! Z. What was that for? Oh yeah, Buzzbiz. Yes, I know. I'm going to show you that one now. How long do you... Hang on, a very quick question there. Melinda, hello, how are you today? How long do you paint before you usually take a break? Every hour or so? I'm excited to see the bumblebee. I usually take, it tends to vary, to be honest with you, Melinda. I vary it. I don't have a stop clock in front of me or anything like that, obviously, but I tend to vary it from between 45 minutes to an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. It depends on if I'm really into that painting, which you know yourself what it's like when you get so involved in the painting that you don't want to leave it alone, but you need to go and put the kettle on. So I do that on a regular basis, and I say that in all my videos. But we're going to put the kettle on, go and stand outside, go and get some fresh air, anything for 5 or 10 minutes. That's every hour if you can, every 45 minutes to an hour. And then you come back with those fresh eyes and you can see things that are not quite right very often as well. So yeah, so about every 45 minutes to an hour is what I recommend as well. Okay, right, here we go. Is the first ever preview of next month's video tutorial. It's about 2 minutes 15 seconds long, and this is for you guys today. And I'll see you back literally in a couple of minutes. Okay, back in a mo. Hi, my name is Paul Hopkinson. Now here are some video clips from my main video tutorial on my website, and how I painted a realistic looking bumblebee on some violet flowers. Let's get started. So that'll give you some ideas on how I painted a realistic looking bumblebee on some violet flowers. So if you fancy having a go at painting this, why don't you pop along to my website www.devonartist.co.uk, have a look at the link down below, join now on a monthly or annual subscription and give it a go. And don't forget, I've got over 50 other video tutorials as well, so you can get painting straight away. I'll see you there. Well, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. So you're the first people to see that, and that's going to be for May 2020, if anybody watching this on catch up. And that's going to be obviously available all the time from that point onwards, as all my videos are. So this month everybody's working on the wolf. Okay, so if you've been on there, you'll see the wolf video tutorial everybody's working on this month alone. But say every tutorial which is on there, it will be available to and all the back catalogue on my website and also on Patreon. So there's over 50, I know, loads videos to choose from now on how to paint wildlife, from dogs, cats to all different, well, lots and lots of birds as well, to a variety of different species. Okay, now while you've been watching that, I've been working on this a little bit more, thinking about the lighter, finer marks now. Sounds gradually blending this out towards the cheek now, so it's not all in one area. But I'm using a weaker version of that watercolour white now as well. Lovely bumblebee, thank you. Thank you, Julie. I'm not saying a word. I love it. I'm just reading Kim's comment there. One second. Do you need to stretch your paper? Your work isn't super wet, is it? It's not super wet. No, it's not, Kim. I use a block pad. So I haven't got a spare one here to show you because this one's all anchored down at the moment. But I use a block pad. So basically it's glued all the way around. But I have a small gap right at the top in the middle, which I can slide without knocking any leads or camera, bear with me a minute, a guitar pick, something like this, which I slide into the edge of, imagine that's the side of the paper. So imagine that's your, imagine this is your watercolour pad, which is glued all the way around, like the old books we used to get where you had the glue strip at the top and tear them off. There's a little tiny gap at the top and you slide that around, keeping it level, so like that, all the way around to take off that sheet of paper. But because it's a block pad, the good thing about that is that when it gets wet, yes, it will bend, in other words, it will cockle, as they say, but it can also dry nice and flat. Mine seems to, they've always dried nice and flat, you know, even if we wet the sheet of paper completely all the way through. But if I leave it for a few hours, because it's very flat at the end of that. So there's a little answer for you. So you know, if you've got stretched paper, then I suggest you use a stretch pad, yes. Or if you're using loose sheets of paper, to stretch that sheet of paper anyway. Okay, there's different methods of stretching as well, isn't there? There's loads of ways of stretching paper. So it's quite handy if you've already got sort of pre-stretched or anything that's glued down like this, to kind of save the hassle of having to stretch that paper. And this Bockingford paper isn't too bad actually. This is the £140 Bockingford, and it's a not NOT capitalised, so it's not, and it's 300 GSM. So basically, not is not hot pressed. So it's not the smooth stuff which you can use for botanical painting. But it's got a medium texture on it basically, which is quite nice for me. That's the way I prefer to paint. So I'm just trying to blend these details up a little bit more now. Just kind of easing a few in there. You've got to be careful not to overdo it. You really have, because you can overdo it with a watercolour white. So less is certainly best, but in this case, I do need to add that little bit more in there to make it stand out. Even if it's only a suggestion of the highlights within the fur that we can see, will all make a difference to the overall effect on the painting as well. Give a quick wipe of the finger. But I'm looking at the angles all the time. So imagine this is all like 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock direction in the middle there, then branches off towards 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock and so on, all the way around. Well, not 10 o'clock, probably 10:30 there. That late already, I know. And a little bit more around there. A quick look on there, 1 second. few tiny ones just at the very top. You've also got to think about the length of the lines, and also they're not completely straight either. Some of these are a little bit curly in places, small little curl marks within them. And you can see I'm not using a thick white at the moment. This is more of a milky consistency, so that means it's not going to dry too bright, which I don't want it to. And a few more around the head. How are we doing for time wise? So quick look. So we've got about another 15 minutes. If you've got any questions you want to ask, then please do. And as I mentioned earlier on, if you're not subscribed to my channel here before, please do so as well, because then you get notified when I can't talk today, when I'm online live again, or when I post any more videos. And I've got some scheduled as well, including at the beginning of the month on the 2nd, that the bee video tutorial you just seen, the 2-minute one, but I've got a 9-minute version of that coming up on the 2nd. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel just so you don't miss it, basically. Okay, and then a little bit more down there. Looks like we'll have to go live again next week, won't we? Do you fancy that? Do you want me to go live next week with you? And then we'll be painting the wood, because I'm going to show you you've seen how to do the watercolour white now and what to do with that. So next week we're going to work on the wood. So I'm going to show you how to paint bark, okay? And my way of painting wood. And there's again, you can do it in quite a variety of ways, but I have my way of doing things, and my members on Patreon and my website know that, because they've painted a lot of wood with me so far. But it's trying to get the texture of wood, trying to make it feel like wood as well. And one of the things I intend on doing is also showing you how to paint rusty metal, and there's a reason behind that, and that's because I've done paintings in the past which incorporates a lot of rust. For example, I painted 2 little owls, not for a video though, 2 little owls on a post, and that post had an old rusty bracket on it as well. I'll have to dig that photograph out for you one day and show you what I mean. Okay, so I'm looking down the side here. Again, it's not really bright there, is it? When you look at the reference photo, this is bright round here, which is why I've concentrated the lightest areas around the nose and just around the cheeks, around this area here, a little bit more on the cheeks. But down here it's quite dull, so I'm using quite a watery mix of the watercolour white at the moment, just to add a few little kind of highlights just down that area. Okay, and a few more down there. Let's have a quick look what people have said. It is intricate, Jonathan, but it's good fun to do. The painting itself for the bee and the flower is quite intricate. It's quite fun. But the thing is, with anything like that, you know yourself. How many times have I said it? You know you know the way I talk and think. You all do now. So I tend to speak my mind when I'm painting and doing the videos, because everything's done in real time, as you know, not voiced over. I'm not like that. Is that with anything like that, you've got to take your time with it. Work on sections, one section at a time, instead of trying to work in different places all in one go. You know, just work in one section at a time, as I've just done on here. Like I've worked on the nose and worked around the nose, rather than switching backward and forward all the time. So by doing that in sections, you find you can control it. You really can control it. So it may sound daunting when you say 6 hours, 6 hours. But yeah, it took more than 6 hours for me to paint it, because I obviously edited the video as well. It was like it took me about a full week to edit the video, something like that I think it was. But yeah, don't worry about that. Just take your time with it and just work in sections, and there's no rush. Just enjoy the process. That's the way to look at it. Now I'm just working my way down towards a nut. Okay, and I want to add a little bit of the highlight in there. Now the highlight is fairly bright, but it's a different colour. So to do that, I'm going to get some more watercolour white, load it, roll it and tap it. You know the system. I'm going to add in, this is going to look too bright to begin with, just a few little marks within the nut, just where I can see on the reference photograph here where there's a few little lightest areas, a bit of a wiggly line going down there. And when this is dry, I'll just touch it over a little bit of colour, and that'll maintain a bit of a brightness to it, but also shape. So by adding this watercolour white in, that will give us that additional shape to this nut. A little bit more there, and I think a tiny amount down the side there. So just give it a chance to dry for a couple of minutes, and we'll come back to that. Just add in that little bit of a highlight. Okay, now next month we've also got, I haven't got that on here actually at the moment, another surprise for my members on my Devon Artist website and on Patreon. Shall I see if I can find the photograph for you? One sec. Now I'm doing something bonus next month. Now I usually do the main project, which you know in this case is going to be our bumblebee on the purple flower. Okay. Which I believe is a prairie mallow. So prairie mallow. But I'm also going to be doing, which I've recorded all this now, is a leaf, which is going to be a beech tree leaf, but this is a spring version. We've already done the winter version of that, so this is a spring version. But the main bonus, which I've decided to record a longer video, and it spans over about 1.5 hours, I think, the actual edited version for you, is how to paint. Oh, is my microphone gone? No, it's not. It's how to paint 3 tree swallow chicks. Okay, so 3 tree, I can't say the words today. 3 tree swallow chicks. Cool, that's tongue tie, isn't it? So I'll show you how to do that. Now if I dig out the photograph for you, or not the photograph, the actual painting, my original paintings. So I'm just coming away from the camera a minute, but I've got a microphone on my chest anyway, so that's fine. Now if I try and find this out for you, bear with me in a minute, and I'll show you the one in question for next month as well. So I've not advertised any of this yet. So I've got one there. Oh, what's that doing in there? Oh, and that. Bear with me. Oh, where did he come from? Oh, that's that one. Now, as I say, the tree swallows, have I taken it off the pad yet actually? Have I taken it off the pad? Yeah, I think I have. Oh, there they are. Right, you ready? There you go. So those little guys there is one of the projects next month on Patreon, and also my Devon Artist website, as you see bottom left hand corner of the screen, just there, look. And I'll show you how to paint these from all the way through. Well, I'm going to show you how to paint one of those tree swallows. The other two will be the same. And we're also going to be painting all of that wood to get that wood effect as well. So that's another video tutorial lesson for next month, for May, to go alongside, as you know, our bumblebee, okay, on the flower, to give us some ideas of what's coming up next month. So that's just 2 more things. Now I decided to do the tree swallows because of the fact that, one, they're very, very cute, obviously, which they are, but also the fact that, you know, when you look at them, it's trying to work out how to get all that detail within the wood around them as well, but also trying to make it look so they look young, they look cute, and you can see that yellow gape in the beak there. So I want to show you how to do all that next month as well. So you've got a lot coming up next month. So all for the, you know, for all of us who have to stay indoors and can't do a great deal. So it'll give you something to kind of work on as well, okay? So I hope you like that. So it's a bit of a bonus. I would normally do a shorter video for the $5 video on Patreon or on my website, but this is a big bonus. Okay, so just working down using a weaker mix again of this white paint. I want to pull a few odd ones now into this background, just overlapping. I might have to make it a little bit thicker actually, just thinking about that. Just overlapping the back area there, so the tail, should I say. Zoom back out on the photo. A bit of paper pull, so I've forgotten that. So excited to show you the tree swallows. Something we don't get here in the UK, not that I know of. And all the way down to there. And there's another one I'm thinking of doing soon as well for my website, for Patreon, is the, well, a hummingbird. How about that? So that may be, I've not painted that yet though. That may be June. I've not quite decided upon that yet. And you can see how weak this white is here. But it's enough just to kind of make that little bit of a difference. So now you can see this coming together. Now we've got the white on there, but we're not trying to overpower the vertical with white paint. We're adding white over, we're going to add colour over the top. So I'm going to go to that raw umber, and I'm going to just touch over. Remember what I said, just do this in one pass on the nut here, like that, and again, and that one there, that one there, and that one there, and that's enough just to tone it back that little bit. If you needed to, any of the white we put on, you can do the same on over the top of some of the white as well. For example, this is too white for these hairs on the back, so I'm going to add a little bit of raw umber over those as well. So it goes to show how much you can play with the paint and kind of make it work for you. I'll have a quick look, make sure there's any comments on there. Hummingbirds, yes, I know something that a little bit different again. Let's have a quick look. That's it, bumblebee and chicks followed by a squirrel. Oh, I've already done a red squirrel on Patreon on my website, which you know I have. So we've got a red squirrel on there, but I could always do another one. But I want to make sure we give a nice variety of different subjects, obviously. They're lovely, thank you very much indeed. And Suran, Kim, oh John, oh they're cute, thank you Jonathan. Oh thank you Melinda, Jonathan Brindle. My wife keeps pestering me for a giant what? Panda, so I'll need you to do one of those soon. Okay, alright, we'll see what we can do. A giant panda. Well, that's a new one. Okay, not thought about doing a panda yet. There'd be a lot of black and white going on in that, wouldn't there? But it's an option anyway, it's an option. So let's pull a few more. This is still quite weak, by the way. Still of a milky consistency. See how it's fading? So when you first add this colour on, I'll show you what I mean on a dark colour here. Look, this is a watery version of it. So that's a watery version. Okay, let it dry a little bit. And we're going to get a creamy version now. And this is a creamy version. See the difference? See what I mean? So having the watery version, that's really good for adding to highlights underneath. How can I say? Let's say if you're painting a dog and you got the shadow, and there's say for example a white dog, and there's a white shadow underneath, but yet you don't want to paint white, do you? So how do you do it? By using a weakened version of watercolour white. You can do it this way around, and then once it's dry, you know what to do. You could overlay it with a little bit of colour over the top. So you could do that. Incredible, Paul. Another stunning among you plenty. Thank you very much indeed, Anna. I saw tone tan grey watercolour paper yesterday. Any thought on that? Ooh, I don't know, to be honest with you. It's not something I'd used, Melinda. Yeah, I wouldn't use that, Melinda. It's not something I personally use because I like to be able to see the colours that I'm putting on rather than having a coloured paper. So if you can get a nice white paper, watercolour paper, that's what I prefer to use. I don't think I want to use a tone paper personally, but you know, some people will like it. But it's not something that I'd prefer to use. I want to be able to see all the colours rather than the tone of the paper showing through that colour which you put on it. You have to remember that obviously watercolour is a transparent medium. So because of that, you know, you want to be able to allow that white of the paper in most instances, apart from when you're adding this white on the top, to show through the colour, which gives it an extra kind of sparkle and zing, doesn't it? Which it does. Okay, so it's your choice. You can give it a try and see how you get on with it, you know. Kim, friends do a lot of wet washes, so nearly had to stretch it, but don't either. Yeah. If you live on the pattern too full, the joint will stay flatter. Well done, Melinda. Exactly. Yeah, I'm okay with block pad. Thank you, Kim. Yeah. Again, you know, if you're not using a block pad, it will cockle that little bit, which it will. Okay, I'm just looking around the pores here as well, just trying to think about the details there. I'm going to have to go in a minute, everybody, because it's been about an hour. I like to stay on for 45 minutes to an hour. Thank you, Andre, for the lovely bumblebee. Have a quick look further down. I love the Squirrel, and you just logged on, have to watch it later. You will, Kay, that's not a problem. It's all watchable, as you know. Initially it's not high quality, the video, when it's watchable straight away, but it will get better as YouTube processes the video quality. Just going to add the highlight into these little claws now. Just tiny marks. And again, I'll probably tone these down a little bit. So start wider, then taper that line as you come across and let go. So start wider, and then taper and let go. And I think there's one coming down the side of that as well, just there. In fact, let's just get a little bit wider about there as well. We've also got another one just there. Got one here. A bit more white pull. Now then, I know I'm going to go in a minute, but I'm going to finish this off camera, all the watercolour white. Now you know what you're doing with it. So next Sunday I will go live one more time for the final time, and then I'll schedule some of the live events at some point during the course of the month, which I will do, but I can't guarantee I'll be live every Sunday at 3 o'clock UK time. So it depends on other things that Joe and myself want to do as well. Okay, but I'm sure you understand that. But I've done that for the past 4 weeks, so we'll do 5 weeks in total going live, and we'll see what happens thereafter. And what I'm thinking of doing, by the way, before I do go in a minute, is to do a paint along with me session. So I'll let you know on Facebook, so have a look on my Facebook page. I'll see if I can find the details for you. Where is it? It's got my details. Dum-ba-dum-ba-dum. So bear with me a minute. I'll just bring up the social media text for you, so there you go. So when you look at that, you've got my Facebook page on there, which is the third one down. The Devon Artist Paul, okay, have a look on there. No, the Devon Artist, yeah. So Instagram and YouTube. Oh no, it's not on there, is it? Yeah, it is. Yeah, the Devon Artist Paul. I'm trying to see a very tiny screen here. So that's what you find. So have a look on there on Facebook, and you find me on there. And when I do decide to do that, I will let you know on Facebook. So then you can prepare what materials you want to, you'll be using for the project in question, and they can paint along with me, literally, live on YouTube, as long as I can get the internet working, yeah. But live on YouTube. Okay, right, I think we'll call it a day. Thank you everybody for coming along. What do you mean? What? Who said that? Yes, I know we've got a competition. Now I said right at the beginning of this video about a colour which I had in my hand. Tube of colour which I squeeze into my half pan pots on my paints here, and I said, does anybody know which one it is? It's one that I've added to my collection fairly recently, probably the last few months. I think I've used it once or twice in videos, but what is that colour? I want to see if anybody's got this right. If they haven't, next week is a last chance saloon, because nobody got it last week for the free PDF lesson. Which means there's 2 up for grabs now. You ready? Okay, I'm going to tell you. The colour in question is, I've nearly dropped it on the floor, is this one here. Okay, so what's that one, everybody? And that's why when I've been showing you the colours, my hand's been over that bit. So anybody looking at my videos will see that. And the colour in question, as I said, is not a Winsor & Newton, it's a De La Rowney one. I don't often use anything other than Winsor & Newton, but I quite like this colour. It's a vivid green. So has anybody guessed vivid green? If not, then there'd be another rollover. Okay. Thank you. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to scroll through very quickly. Here we go. Has anybody guessed vivid green? Just looking through now. Ivory black, burnt sienna, Prussian blue, indigo, Scarlet Lake. I can't see it yet. Oh no, I don't think anybody's got it. I'm looking. No, you're right, Julie. Nobody's guessed it. So that means that next week, there will be a rollover. No, next week there'll be free. I know I'm giving them away like mad now. So free PDF lessons on how to paint wildlife in watercolour from me, and you can choose those free from my shop on my Devon Artist website down below, and then I will obviously email those to you once you've been in touch with me, okay, via my Devon Artist website, either the online form or just send me an email from there. But so next week 3 o'clock, fingers crossed, if all goes according to plan on my internet, I'll be live again. And I'll say I'll finish all this off camera, but then we're working on the wood. I'm going to show you how to paint some very detailed wood. Okay, right, thank you everybody for joining me today. Hope you've enjoyed this live session, and we'll see you again next time round. And one thing, remember, stay safe out there, okay? Stay home, stay safe, and get them brushes out and get painting, okay? Enjoy it. And don't forget to click on subscribe and the bell icon. And if you get a chance, pop along to my Devon Artist website and sign up for the free. I've got two free videos on there, completely full free videos. One how to paint a robin in watercolour, and one how to paint a bee eater in watercolour as well. And with those, you get the reference photograph and the outline drawing at the same time. Okay. So if you pop along to my Devon Artist site down below, you know the links down below this video in the description as well. And then join as a free member and get access to those obviously free video tutorials, and they can see how I do my videos. Right, so until next time around, or next week hopefully, I'll see you all then. Okay, take care everybody, and thanks for joining me today.
Now, one of the painters has been wanting to do for quite a while now is to paint a horse chestnut bud. So this is going to be quite a lot of texture, a lot of colour involved with this, also quite a bit of detail as well. So I'm going to go through a variety of techniques along the way, from wetting wet, dry brush, lifting off, using watercolour white, and one thing we will not be using this time round is black. I know, makes a change. So no black paint, no lamp black or anything like that. And don't forget, this is also real-time video, so I talk as I paint, explaining every single thing I do as I go. So here's a little preview video for you on how to paint a horse chestnut bud. Right, so there you go. So I'll give you some ideas on how to paint a horse chestnut bud. So find a little bit of that me time and let's get them brushes wet. And let's paint wildlife in watercolour on devonartist.co.uk.
So what we've been working on off camera, just give you some ideas when I've not been live. Just put a wash on the